Best of luck to John Kiely and the Limerick team from everyone at Noel's Menswear. Noel's Menswear, proud supporters of Limerick GAA.
John, you obviously got a chance to look back on Clare and Kilkenny.
Yeah, it was a pretty devastating performance by Kilkenny. Really sharp, clinical, hard working. Everything that you'd want to see about a side. So, given how difficult we found the task of dealing with Clare, you'd have to say that it was an extremely impressive performance.
Yeah, but despite all that's been said about Clare and the poor performance, they did still create 44 scoring chances. They took 20.
Yeah, I suppose, to be honest, Matt, our focus is on the next day and our team and our performance. Whilst obviously we will, take cognizance of, Kilkenny's performance, we won't be very necessarily focused on Clare's performance. It's going to be all about what we can bring to the game ourselves first and foremost, and obviously there'll be a piece then around, areas that Kilkenny have obvious strengths that they're going to be bringing to the table that we're going to need to deal with.
I suppose one of the great strengths of Kilkenny in the current championship has been their ability to score goals. They've scored 16 goals in the championship to date.
It's a fantastic achievement to date. It's absolutely, yeah. It's something we're going to have to be extremely, well prepared for. And at the same time, I think, Matt, you'll find that our record, in terms of defending, is extremely good as well also. So, that's going to be an interesting aspect of the game.
John, it's quite extraordinary that because of the structure of GAA competitions, you haven't met Kilkenny since 2019 with different groups in the league. That's quite extraordinary in any national competitions.
It is unusual. It's probably regrettable, really, isn't it? So, yeah, I think, to be fair, I think the structuring of the leagues the last 2 years possibly, mightn't have been the best, set up really. A bit more variety might have been needed. But listen, that's a matter for another day. I suppose we're going to meet in another major encounter now, and I've no doubt that, like the last time we met, it'll be a humdinger, it'll be a right battle, and it'll be a really tight, tough game.
Does that 2019 game, when there was an issue about a late potential 65, is that totally irrelevant at this stage?
Absolutely, yeah. That's 3 years ago now. We're not a group for looking backwards. We're a group for looking forwards. We've always been that way, and our focus is firmly on next Sunday week, and most certainly not on 2019 anyway.
It's fair to say that Kilkenny have looked at the Galway style of the last couple of years, or the Limerick style of the last couple of years that have made you so successful. And Kilkenny have had to adapt in the type of play with their short popping passes and alternating with long passes. That's probably a credit to Limerick and how you have managed to overcome opponents with that style that you work so well.
Well, I think the game evolves over time, regardless of what we might do. The game is continuously evolving. And in 3 years' time we'll have seen further evolutions in the game. Clare this year brought the whole idea of a really fast puck out. That was something that they went after this year as a piece. Galway went with maybe a third man midfielder this year. And every year and every team takes on different nuances and different approaches. I suppose the traditional setup of 15 on 15 is definitely gone, but is it anything to do with us? I don't think so. I think that there's a natural evolution, and that every team, wants to play to its strengths, depending on the skill set that the players that they have available to them.
Brian Cody has been constantly saying this year about the strength of the panel. He doesn't talk about the team anymore, and I suspect with Limerick it's very much the same, because your squad has been hugely helpful to you over quite a number of matches now.
Yeah, I think that's again, a more maybe modern day approach to sport. There's a greater emphasis given to valuing the input by every single individual that's involved. But all squads are up around 35, 36, 37 players now at least. And, a lot of those lads don't make match day 26s, maybe throughout the season. But that doesn't mean that their contribution isn't absolutely vitally important. And in terms of pushing forward the 26 and then pushing forward the 15 that do actually make it onto match day. So, and again, it's very rarely that you'll see us anyway not use the 5 subs that we have available to use on the day. If in most cases, if we had 7, we'd use the 7, because they're great players that we want to get on the pitch and get a contribution from. And I think there's a greater understanding within the team and the group as a whole that the contribution by everybody made is a really valuable contribution, and whether you start or finish, it doesn't really matter.